Hello and welcome to this 5-minute teaching on the supernatural agape love of God. I'm Pastor Jack Shoup with Grace Fellowship of Georgetown, Kentucky, and we've been teaching how to tap into supernatural agape love. In this session, I'm wearing my Chariots of Light members t-shirt. Chariots of Light Motorcycle Ministries came up under Jerry Savelle, and I'm wearing a Daytona Beach hat because every year Chariots of Light goes to Daytona, they go to Sturgis, they go to other outreaches, and lead tens of thousands of souls to Jesus. And when I first heard about this, I thought, how does a handful of people lead 1,000, 10,000 people to Jesus? Until I experienced it. And the key is they do it by the supernatural agape love of God. When you love people like Chariots of Light instructs, as they've learned to tap into, now you become a harvest net. And people are drawn to you to get saved. And I tell you what, I want to excel in it. I want my body to excel in it because God's going to raise up an end-time church flowing in His love. Now, we've been looking at in the past few sessions out of Colossians chapter 3, verse 14. It says, "And above all these things put on charity, or agape love, which is the bond of perfectness." I call it the mortar of perfection. See, what mortar does is mortar takes uneven stones, that which normally you could not put together, and it uses the imperfections of each stone. The mortar fills those voids and locks the stones together. It's been several years ago now, probably close to 25 years ago. We were tearing down a wall next to the church I was ministering in, and we had a horrible time getting that stone apart. They didn't just put regular mortar between the stones. It was a rock wall, a very old rock wall. They didn't use just regular mortar. This mortar must have been made with, 1800s super glue. And we virtually had to pry each stone apart because this mortar locked these stones together so tightly. They weren't smooth stones. They were misshaped stones. They were rough stones. But the imperfections of the stones, again, allowed them to be infused together by that mortar. And I believe that's a great representation of the love of God. When we get coated in love, we can connect to people we may normally not be able to get along with. We may not normally want to hang out with. But love so coats us, it interlocks us together. They become our favorite people to be around, right? Let me be around people walking in love. I don't care what their personality is or anything else about their life. Let's tap into this supernatural agape. So we're reading out of 1 Peter chapter 2, and it says that we are lively stones being built up a spiritual house unto God. Lively stones. Now again, I've worked with stone some. I've put together some walls. I've got walls I've built around my house, around parts of my landscaping. And I've known a few master stonemasons, and they've taught me some instruction on how they do it. And they know how to take stones and shape them just right to fit them together. But you know what? Their stones they work with are solid. I mean, the rock wall we tore down, it had been sitting like that for probably well over 100 years. And the stones were the same shape then as when it was built as when we took it apart. But Scripture says we're lively stones. And it's interesting. You can take a stone and shape it together. I mean, get it to fit just right. But a lively stone may change shape overnight. I've been pastoring for a while now, and people have mood swings. Someday they think they're called to this job. The next thing they think they're called to this office. Maybe they think they're supposed to sing. The one that's really wild is, well, I'm supposed to take care of the children for about 2 weeks, and all of a sudden God called me elsewhere when they realized it was work to take care of children. And lively stones are always changing shape. But God says, I've taken that into account. I know you're going to have days you're up and days you're down. Days you see things differently than you did before. Days you don't show up. Oh, we don't need to go there, do we? Days you don't show up. And God says, I've got it covered. I'm bringing agape to the church. My bond, my mortar of perfection. I'm going to coat my lively stones with it. And even if one changes shape, the other's love is able to take up the difference. In other words, if somebody has a mood swing one day, those around them, if they're coated in love, it will have no impact on anybody's life. They'll just say, my love covers that. You follow me? You refuse offense. You refuse to be feel abused or used. And you say, God's got this covered. God's coating His end-time church as lively stones with the mortar of perfection, which is the love of God. And it's vital in these end times we tap into that agape. Be blessed.